art fight is over and I have feelings. This is my first ever time doing art fight, so let's go through all of the attacks that I did whilst discussing what art fight is all about. Before starting art fight, I made a hit list of artists that I wanted to attack first, and Ink was at the top of this list for a few reasons, but the main one being that he is the reason that I had the confidence in my own art to join in with this event and even start this YouTube channel to begin with. If you don't know, at the start of this year I have been learning how to do anatomy and character design, and I have been using the courses that Ink has been recommending me. He is an art teacher and has been a huge boon to my confidence and my skill growth throughout this whole year. I owe a lot to Ink, and the least I could do was to draw his character, Sol, first for my first ever art fight. Now, I'm not the best at drawing men. I don't draw them very much. Masculine builds are not the type of builds that I gravitate towards. Regardless, I am really proud of the result of this piece. It may be a little bit simple, but it's my first ever art fight attack, and I'm proud of it. Sol is described as a gentle giant, so I wanted him to seem large while still approachable, and I think I achieved that. Ink very kindly returned the favour and gave me art that became my phone wallpaper for the remainder of the event. Next up is Bunafi and their adorable little Moki Bunny, Poot. My main goal for this attack was to make sure that the hair looked as gooey as humanly possible. Bunafi is actually a fellow streamer and an incredible entertainer, and when I heard them talking about the fact that they were going to be joining in with Art Fight, they ended up on my hit list. It unfortunately took me until I finished this piece and uploaded it to Art Fight to realise that I forgot the glasses. But when I messaged Bun about this later, we were joking about the fact that Poot probably stole those glasses. And it didn't matter anyway, because I managed to get that hair looking so yummy, so gooey, and Bun very kindly returned the favour with this gorgeous piece of Bramble and Felix. Tolasterism is the first name that I'm going to mispronounce, and it won't be the last, so bear with me on that. But when they posted about wanting their OC to be birdified, I was immediately drawn to that. This was the first piece that I sunk hours into, and it was not the last. It was actually the beginning of a cascade of ridiculously long attacks. Realistically, the amount of time I spent on this piece isn't that long, but I had 18 artists on my hit list, and I also wanted to return the favor to anyone who attacked me first, so this was going to be a long month. It is worth noting that the reason I spent so much time on this piece was because I enjoyed every second of it, and this will be a returning theme for the whole event. I had so much fun, and this piece made me start reaching out into the world of actually doing a little bit of work on the background. I'd usually stick to just doing a very simple coloured shape behind the characters, but the small amount of effort that was put into a scenic element made such a big difference that I continued this. Imperfectly, may I add, but I tried, and that is what mattered. I improved as well, which was really pleasant to see. If you want to see an immaculate character page, I highly recommend you go to Flo's page. It is impressive. It is impressive. Welcome to what is probably my favourite piece of the whole event, and you could argue that maybe I should save this for the end of the video, but I'm showing you all of these pieces in the order that I did them. Everyone say hi to Tiny, a half-elf scribe wizard belonging to the incredible artist Tui Jux. Her themes include clementines, scribes and parchment, books, and the sun, so I immediately envisioned this gorgeous character picking some clementines from a tree. This piece came to me with so much ease. I spent, I think, 3 hours at most drawing this, and I didn't struggle with it too much at all. I fell into a rhythm with it, and it felt very meditative. Though Tiny is described as very nervous and awkward a lot of the time, my experience drawing her was nothing but peaceful. The only struggle I had was picking a colour for the background. With the colours being quite muted in the character, I was drawn to doing a bright blue in the background, but I later decided to tone everything down and keep it quite a low contrast piece. I'm really happy with this decision. I think the overall cohesion thanks me for it. I did intend to experiment with the background and surrounding border a little bit more, but I opted out of that as the simplicity seemed to take less away from the focus on the character. Next up, we have Melisseus' character, Shallan, and I am obsessed with this character design. First, I want to apologise for the lack of the sketch phase at the beginning of this. I'm still getting used to editing, and this software is hard to get my head around, and I'm not going back. I am quite a few hours deep. I'm not going back and fixing it. I settled on the composition of this piece after reading in the character description. She is a kind person deep down, if very unattached to most things, a person who is fond of the small things in life. She loves knitting and dancing and watching the sunsets. So I gave her a sunset with a warm drink and a very peaceful window to watch it out of. Melisseus is one of the few artists that I have had the privilege of commissioning a piece of artwork of, and it was absolutely phenomenal, and I highly recommend checking them out to see if their style is for you. I loved the piece they made for me so much that I had to attack them when I found out that they were joining in with Art Fight. I finished this piece off with some moody clouds and moody lighting to try and really set the vibe, and I am really happy with how cozy it ended up being. I started Art Fight on the 6th of July, and by the 12th I had only done this amount of pieces of art. I was getting a little overwhelmed with my hit list and I wanted to do something a little simpler. Someone in my Twitch chat, the wonderful Homesick, told me that they had an Art Fight account too, and I decided to tackle their gorgeous, cute character, Bonnie. With this piece, I am particularly proud of the joy that I managed to achieve in Bonnie's face, as well as the look of the stretch marks on her skin. I've never taken the time to draw stretch marks before, and I think I really managed to nail them, and I'm so chuffed. The benefit of drawing one of the characters belonging to someone in my Twitch chat meant that I could, in real time, confer and make sure that I had a design that Homesick enjoyed, and I'm very glad to know how much Homesick does like this piece. I finish this off with a peaceful beach scene, and I don't have to wait long before Homesick very kindly sends me over some revenge. Thank you, Homesick. Welcome to the main time sink of the whole event. Say hello to Rhiannon, a Twilight Cleric humanoid harpy belonging to Haimu. One part of this character design that I found really interesting was that the thorns that are wrapped around her neck indicate whether someone is in emotional turmoil so that she can help ease their pain, and I thought that was beautiful. I struggle a lot trying to get this piece full body, and I eventually end up cropping it. However, this still is competing for my favourite piece of the whole event. This became a true labour of love. I spend most of the time, I think, rendering. Those metallic pieces needed to be shiny and needed to be pulled off correctly, and I put a lot of effort into making it work. Now, if you've gotten this far and you still don't know what Art Fight is, let me enlighten you. Art Fight is a website-hosted annual event where artists draw each other's OCs with hopes to gain enough points for their chosen team to win. This year was the first year with 3 teams. I chose Team Comedy, but there was also Team Tragedy and Team Mystery. You are awarded points based on the medium you use, your existence of line art, colours, shading, and whether or not it's animated, as well as if you've included backgrounds. You gain 75% of the points if you attack someone who is on the same team as you, but you can gain a few more points if you think you put a little bit of extra effort into the final piece. If you submit a drawing for someone first, that counts as an attack, but if they are responding to something that you have drawn, then that is a revenge. You can go back and forth and create a revenge chain, but I didn't join in with that this year. Mass attacks are also something that exists, where someone does one piece of art with multiple characters in it, though I'm not the biggest fan of this, and I'll explain why a little bit later in the video. First, I need to bring your attention to how shiny I am getting certain parts of this character. I really struggle with making things look metallic and shiny, and I learnt so much about how to do that in this piece. I'm still yet to study lighting and colour, so I already struggle with making certain shadows dark enough to make something not look as flat, but making something shiny is a whole different ballgame. It just feels so counterintuitive to make something that reflects light dark. Yet one of the fastest ways to make something look shiny is to add a lot of contrast. I add some last touches by trying to make it look like feathers are flying behind her, and I'm really proud of the result. For this next character, I need to give you a warning that I do draw a spider, though for those of you who are arachnophobes, me too, so you bet that that is a low-res spider. This is Narcelia by Annie Acker, and she is a Lolth Sworn drow. Ignoring the spider, I had a lot of fun with this piece. I'm still yet to learn my lesson on taking forever to draw art fight attacks, but regardless, I'm having a good time. Narcelia has had a few outfit changes, but the one I'm doing right now is the current version. And though I love the design a lot, I am worried at this stage about how I'm going to make the sleeve look translucent as it is, which is why right now I'm playing around with whether or not the line art would be there, and I opted for fainter line art, and I think that helps to sell the idea that it is translucent. The outfit also has spiderweb motifs, and that is why I opted to add the spider, and I later add a spiderweb as the background. I refuse, however, to look up a reference for a spider, so I will have no one in my comments saying that that spider either looks like the Spider-Man logo or doesn't look like a spider at all. I'm not looking at spiders. I am frightened of them. I refuse to do that to myself. One thing that I struggle with for I think the whole event is drawing hair. I'm still not comfortable with it, and yet every character has that. Unless they're bald, but bald characters are few and far between, and I also don't think I would be good at drawing a bald head. To finish off this piece, I work on lighting and the background. I'm still trying to push my shadows darker, but at this point, we're not there yet. I'm just starting to introduce myself to the multiply layer, and doing this alone is already helping me be a lot more satisfied with the finished product that I end up with. I'm really happy with this piece, but I am the most proud that I pushed through and drew a spider, which I really wouldn't usually do. Back into the uncomfortable world of drawing masculine characters I go to draw Damon by Goose. Damon is a vampire running a nighttime cafe, and thanks to Goose being part of a Twitch community, I know that Damon's main customers are doctors and nurses, and as thanks for his work, they let him take a little bit of blood here and there. I decided to draw him working at his cafe, and as part of his work attire, I put his hair up into a bun. I do start to regret that as the artwork goes on, because the texture of the hair, it's a lot to draw when you're not used to drawing that hair, but I'm really proud of myself for trying it, and I think I really pulled it off. Another goal that I had with this piece was to try and draw a more detailed environment. I chickened out of this a little bit right at the end. However, I still think I did a lot better than what I would usually do. This piece made me realize that I really need to draw more masculine characters. The more I draw them, the easier they come to me. So maybe I should just get over my fear a little bit. But for now, I'm staying nice and cozy in my safety corner. Because I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for that just yet. I love another opportunity to prove that I can make things shiny, so that cup in Damon's hand is shiny thanks to the things I learnt from drawing Rhiannon. Thank you so much again, that character was delightful. And once I get all the shading done, I start plotting out the background. I grab a few references for the board behind where you buy like the cashier. I got a few references for behind there, and I just did some nice scribbles and then blurred it. And I think it works. I don't care. I don't care if it's cheating. I did this for the front as well. I tried to make those glasses look transparent. I think it worked, and I will not have anyone call me a cheat. Xavier was the first artist to attack me before I got to them on my hit list, so this technically is my first revenge. Though I do forget to tag it as such when I upload it to Artfight, this does technically count as my first revenge. This is Glitter Featherbell, a Furbolg cleric of Soon, and she is so gorgeous, so pretty, I love her. I struggled a little bit to start out with because I decided to do a more difficult face angle, but I'm really proud that I persevered because I do think I end up managing to get the expression right. Through a lot of fighting, but we did get there. Xavier was in my Twitch chat whilst I was drawing this, and they let me know that this character was brought to life in the middle of the night, the day before the D&D campaign, last minute drawing, and I would like some skill, please. Xavier, can you save some for the rest of us? The character just feels so well thought out that I struggle to believe that this was brought to exist through an all-nighter, but that is a fact that I'm gonna have to accept, I guess. With the name Glitter, I wanted to add a lot of pink, a lot of sparkle. I do pare it back a little bit at the end. I think I was going a little too far into that, but I was having a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed drawing this piece. This attack was in fact revenge for this piece of Zuri. However, Xavier very cruelly revenged me once more with this chibi version of Zuri, which I love very much. I am proud to say that I converted some people into art fighters throughout the event, and one of those people is Saddle Acorn with their cute character Corn Cob. I put out a few different ideas for this first, and we actually ended up settling on doing a comic strip. I do actually want to spend some time drawing more comics, so this was a really fun practice, and I have a few things that I've learned from this, as well as some things that I enjoyed that I would love to keep on doing. With Acorn's permission, we made some lore decisions with Corn Cob, and I really love this comic. I took a little bit of inspiration from Acorn themselves, as well as the life of hobbits. Corn Cob is a late riser, enjoys doing art before smoking some bubbles and enjoying some fruit bugs to some delightful music. I tried my best to implement whimsical furniture, but I do wish that I had changed the times so that I could have had a little 420 joke in there somewhere. Welcome to Artfight, Acorn. I hope you had a blast. Now I need to warn you not to get attached to the first sketch that I do for this piece. I just could not figure out the wings for it, and though I do really love the pose, I was struggling too much with it, so I did end up changing. This is Thorn, a blood fairy belonging to Stars in My Coffee art, and I loved this design so much. Stars is actually one of the few artists on my hit list that I didn't know about until there was art fight posts being made on Blue Sky. Thorn is described as mute, chaotic, and not to be trusted. And a really cool part of this character design is that the outfit is living. The outfit is so alive that it can change shape to anything else, including making the hands more clawed and feet. And it's so creepy in the best way. I adore this. So about halfway through the process, I changed the pose, and I am a little bit sad about it, and I still, unfortunately, am not the most happy with this piece. This may be one of my least favorite of the whole thing, which is such a shame, based on how much I love this character, but I'm really proud that I persevered through it regardless, got it finished to a state that I am happy with. There's just some changes that I maybe will go back and sort later. I probably won't. I'll just have to live with it. Shaman is the second revenge that I ever do after their wonderful attack on Felix, and at this point, after the previous struggle that I had, I realized that I needed to slow down and allow myself to do smaller pieces. So here I decided to do just a headshot of their wonderful character Skipper. I love drawing character profiles, and though I do think I accidentally gave Skipper a bit of an underbite, I love how this turned out regardless. Thank you so much, Shaman, for also drawing a cute and adorable sleepy Felix. I love it so much. Thank you. Although I did just say that I want to do smaller pieces, I maybe immediately forgot about that. Didn't do it again. Whoops, I guess. This is Anoa's character, Aska, who is a smoke witch, and I love the colours of this character so much. For this piece, I wanted to focus on creating a curious, mystical, misty vibe, and I also wanted to integrate what I think are sandhill cranes, which are the birds that we see this character with in the reference piece. I end up adding this right at the end. I did want to add one flying in the sky, but I choose a different way of doing it, which I think, again, takes less focus away from the main character and still incorporates that element. At this point, I'm also a lot more confident with doing background elements, and I'm really happy with the final result. This is the 15th attack that I do for the event, so we are almost halfway there, and this is the final piece that I do for my hit list. At this point, we're at 13 out of 18 on my hit list, and I've done 2 extra. And although I still have more left, I can't remember the date. Okay, I just checked, and I finished this current piece on the 21st of July. This is my 15th piece, and I had 18 attacks that I wanted to revenge in 10 days. So I decided to do this as my final hit list, and then everyone that was left, I think I will attack them next year. This character's name is Blue, owned by Bubbly Blue, and she is a bright scales, which is what looks to me to be a type of mermaid, and I need to get better at drawing sea and sea life. So I decided to draw this character in their bright scale form. I couldn't find any pose references that I liked for this piece, so I actually did this from my imagination, and it's one of the first anatomy pieces that I've done since learning anatomy without a reference, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. But I'm still not learning my lesson with this, and it is the second longest piece that I have sunk time into for the whole event. When I move on to do revenge, I finally learn my lesson and do actually spend a lot less time on each piece. And I'm grateful for that because it meant that I was able to attack every person who attacked me except from your last minute attacks are cruel. They're cruel because I don't have it anyway. I do manage to have the time to attack everyone who attacks me, thanks to finally learning my lesson and spending a little bit less time on art fight attacks. I do still want to dedicate a lot of time to my other artworks though. I just am learning my lesson that art fight isn't that time. I struggle, but I think I managed to make the background look like we are underwater, and this is my final hit list attack. Now let's move on to revenge. This is Grace belonging to ColaCat53, who was my first ever attack of art fight, and they drew this one of Felix stealing cookies. This is based on some lore with my Twitch chat, and it was really fun to see some of the attacks I received include some of the lore of the characters. A little burnt out from my hit list, I just drew a very cute cat and gave it the colouring and patches that were on the reference sheet. I add the lesbian flag as a background, and my first revenge that wasn't on my hit list is done. Everyone say hi to Ria, and she belongs to Certified Moth, who did this wonderfully cryptid-esque drawing of Bramble. Thank you for that, by the way, because you have added to Bramble's lore. Trying my hardest to keep this simple, I did a very basic bust drawing of Ria and made the background look a little bit like a peach, as that was one of the themes that was given to Ria in the character description. Does it look like a peach? I don't really know, but I'm happy with the result either way. Thank you, Moth, for your attack. This is the vicious, wild, and ferocious warrior Princess Buttercup Not Hawk Food, and that is her full title, and she belongs to Dicelex, who drew Felix as an attack for me. They drew Felix directing people into Whimsy Grove, and I once again love that lore has been included here. I draw this beautiful ghost princess cat prancing around, and I'm really happy. I struggled making the eyes not look angry and scary, but also she is ferocious, so I think that's okay. I decided to use Art Fight to test out some styles, so welcome to the chibi part of this video. Thank you so much to AA for drawing this beautiful piece of Bramble and Felix. Janice is a 16-year-old intelligent student who absolutely reeks of academia, and I love it. Their colour palette reminds me of libraries and cafes, and they were an absolute pleasure to draw. Thank you so much, AA, for attacking me. I hope that you like my revenge. Our next revenge is on Rain Gumdrop, who did this absolutely traumatized Zuri artwork, and I just gotta say, thank you. I love seeing the emotions that my characters go through, and Zuri is one of those characters that has a lot of baggage, so seeing people illustrate that is really, really cool. Rain specifically expressed interest in having a chibi artwork done of their character, so I chose Fujiko and I made her an absolute beach babe. I love this piece. This might be one of my favorites of the chibi styles I did, and I'm really happy that I experimented with this style. It's quite fun. The chibi style, and also this specific background that I do for this character, was inspired by Bonofi's attack on me, so if you like this style, I do highly recommend you also check them out. Rain, you are an incredible artist, and thank you for attacking me. Next up, we try a monochromatic look as a thank you to Half Piece for drawing this incredible traditional piece, I think, of Zuri. I chose Half Piece's character Athena, and I really love how this piece turned out. Since all of Half Piece's characters are in grayscale, I took this as a challenge to do so myself. I incorporated both of the weapons into possibly the most dynamic pose I've managed so far, and I just think that the final piece is really cool. The only thing that I am annoyed at is that I made I made one of her legs way too long, and I only realized this after the fact, but I think the chibi style is a bit more forgiving, so I think it's not as obvious, but I did notice it. Thank you, Halfpiece88, for attacking me, and I hope you like the revenge. Rosemary is a cute garden fairy by Rainflower, who drew this adorable piece of Felix on Felix Rock. So in return, I drew Rosemary on a cute little toadstool. Is it cliche? Maybe, but I don't really care. I love fairies on mushrooms and I love them paired together, and I will do so until the day I die. I chose to draw Rosemary because she was the only humanoid character that Rainflower had, and I was not up to trying to draw anything else. I needed to just draw something I was comfortable with, so I stuck with a humanoid garden fairy on a toadstool. Artfight did make me realize that I want to learn to draw more animals ready for next year. I'm obviously going to start with foxes so I can draw Felix, but if you have any animals you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Thank you again to Rainflower for very kindly attacking me. I hope you like my sweet, sweet revenge. I spent Artfight drawing too many protagonists, so this time I draw an antagonist for Wolfclaw, who drew this Felix. Meet Queen Salju Ruva, one of the only humans left with magic unknown by the Zenic and other humans. She is 21 years old and is cool. Very, very cool. And not just with her style, it seems like her evil witch powers are related to snow and ice, so I thought, why not have her cast up a snowstorm? I make sure to keep her eyes piercing and icy, and I'm really proud of how I managed to make the hair look. I feel like as the event goes on, I'm slowly getting more confident with hands and hair. We're not perfect yet, but we're getting there. During the chibi phase of my art fight, I start to implement the use of the overlay layer. I don't usually mess around with these, I prefer not. But I noticed that Salju looked more like she was inside of the snowstorm when I used this technique. Thank you so much again to Wolfclaw for attacking me. Our final chibi piece goes to Muffs with Muffins for this incredible drawing of Zuri, and I realized at this point that these chibi drawings were taking me just as long as the longer pieces. The time lapses are shorter, but I spent so long deliberating on how to do this new style that I may as well have just stuck with what I was comfortable with. This is Liliana, a Portuguese model who is very passionate about music and dance and can interact with ghosts. She's cool, I love her, I drew her. Thank you so much for your attack. It is the 29th of July and I still have 7 attacks to revenge, including this one of Bramble from Larry's Artworks. Thank you so much for your attack. After realizing that the chibis were taking just as long to do, I decide to return to the style that I am most comfortable with, and I love this piece. This is Reva, and one of my favorite things about her is her severe brow, and I really wanted to capture that in this piece. Reva is actually a gargoyle, and I haven't stumbled across a gargoyle character before, and I loved it. The hair design is really cool, and though I struggled to make it rest right on the legs, I think the dress is also a really fun design. Though I love colouring manually at this point, I have resorted to the fill tool to make things quicker, as I only had 2 days left to do 7 attacks. But thank you so much, Laris, for attacking me. I hope you like this piece that I did of your delightful Reva. I have really been digging Jester designs recently, so as a thank you for this wonderful attack of Felix, I revenge Abyssal Werewolf with their character Grim. Grim is a vampire with cannibalistic tendencies and is the head clown of the circus. With full transparency, I hate drawing the ruffles that clowns usually have, so I do avoid them. oh no, I don't want to. And since different outfits were allowed, I opted to make my life a little easier with the deadline coming up fast and quick. It also felt really nice to draw a clown character since I am on team comedy. So this was my piece in homage. Is that the right word? In homage to that. Thank you so much, Abyssal Werewolf, for your attack, and I hope you enjoy my revenge. It is now the 30th of July, and as a thank you for this attack of Zuri, I decide to pare down what I'm doing even further to just headshots. This is Vesper, a butterfly moon elf belonging to Made by Crafts. I was really inspired by this character because of the wings, which if you put two and two together, when I do a headshot, there's not going to be wings there. So I immediately had the idea to make the background look like the wings. Out of all of the attacks I've done this event, this might be the most proud I have been of doing hair. And that paired with the overall composition, this is up there with one of my favorite pieces of this whole event. I just feel like it feels so complete and professional, maybe? Thank you so much to Elle for attacking me, and I hope you like this piece as much as I do. Are we surprised that I was drawn to a fox-themed character? I'd say no. This attack that Hazel did for me blew me away with the amount of lore included in it. There is the dagger, there's the burning forest, and there is the slight tragedy in her face. It's perfect. Thank you so much for your attack. As Ava is described as often having indifferent and arrogant expressions, I decided to draw her with a bit of a side-eye situation going on, and I love this. Ava has powers to turn into a fox, but whilst in her human form, has accessories that resemble fox ears, just like her clips that you see in this piece. Regardless of how much I'm rushing at this point, I'm really proud of the product, and Hayes, thank you so much again for attacking me. The final revenge on this day goes to Rylando Gatto for their delightful attack on me of Bramble. I love this, thank you so much. Meet Nelson. It is an alien, and he comes in peace for now. This alien loves sweets and everything pink, and it is a cutie pie alien. Just try and ignore the fact that she will eventually leak the coordinates of Earth so that the goal of destroying mankind can be complete. But don't think about that, I promise. She's lovely. Thank you so much, Rylando, for your attack, and I hope you like this one of your delightful Nelson. Welcome to my first ever furry art, and you have Thorn's attack on Felix to thank for it. I have wanted to learn how to draw anthropomorphic characters for a while now, and this felt like a great way to dip my toe into that type of art. This is Niara Graves, and she is a trans femme hellhound who does have a feral form, but I wanted the challenge of drawing an I'm never going to be able to say that word first try. She's a furry and I love her, okay? I really wanted to include the weapons as part of the background, and I love how this turned out. I struggled a little bit with the snout, but I think I got it. This is my first ever furry art. Please be kind. I think I pulled it off. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for your attack. I am on the final day at this point, and I only have one more revenge to give, and it is for this wonderful piece of Felix by Pony Fans Art. I decided for my final piece that I was going to challenge myself to draw a dragon, so here is Sand Beetle. For this piece I used a reference of a cat, because as we know from the incredible How to Train Your Dragon, cats are a great base for dragons. I struggle a lot with the wings before deciding that I am getting too close to midnight at this point on the very last day of Art Fight, and it would just be better for everyone if I didn't include them. So imagine that we have just put them into a invisibility spell. I don't know. Be imaginative. I'm tired at this point. For the background, I decided to do a lava pool. I feel like it makes the dragon colour pop that little bit more, and I'm really happy with how this piece finished. So when I finally went to upload this piece at midnight, I had another attack, and I cannot believe it! Thankfully, Artfight is extended a few days, so in response to this delightful piece of Zuri, I do draw Aum, a character by Ajum. I'm really sorry. Out of all of the names that I've butchered today, I imagine yours are the worst, and I do apologize. I wanted to be finished with Artfight on the 31st because I still had to edit, so I assigned 50 minutes to do this piece from start to finish, real time. And I am so proud of myself for managing to do that. Finishing this piece meant that I had successfully done revenge on everyone who attacked me, so I uploaded this piece, and this was my 30-second Artfight attack. So in the end, it was actually impossible for me to revenge absolutely everyone who attacked me, because after I had finished and no longer had allotted time to spend on this event, people were still attacking me, including this amazing piece that has now stayed as my phone wallpaper until, I don't know, I do a piece myself that I enjoy or I commission someone else. I did also receive a couple mass attacks, and I know there's a lot of opinions out there about whether or not people enjoy receiving mass attacks. And I also am not the biggest fan of them. I just feel like I prefer a more personal touch. And even with mass attacks, I do think this is possible, but I don't think that's the type of mass attack I see the most. Instead of randomly deciding to include my character in a mass attack, I think it's a lot more fun to theme the characters that you're putting together, put them into a world in the same time. Bramble loves to be in the woods and forage. There are many other characters that fit this bill. Make it a theme of woodlands or foraging or something similar, and I love that type of mass attack. I'm just not the biggest fan of feeling involved just for the sake of increasing the amount of characters that you can include in one piece. One attack that I received that was a mass attack does this perfectly. Remember Xavier, who very cruelly re-attacked me after I did a revenge? Well, they even did a literally last minute, on the final second of Artfight, a mass attack of people in my Twitch community. Just look at this. Every character gets to shine, and it makes sense that they're all in the same place. It feels intentional, and I really enjoy that part of mass attacks. So, was Artfight a bad idea? I did have problems with this event. I found myself so rushed that I started forming some bad habits in my art, and I felt a lot of pressure to make sure that everyone who attacked me felt seen and involved. But at the end of the day, that is a pressure that I put on myself. Artfight is what you make of it. You don't have to be involved. You don't have to do 32 attacks in 1 month like I did. I don't even know how much time total I spent. I don't know if I want to know that number. I love how much Artfight feels like the old internet with all of the ways that you can customize your page. There's some really impressive decorations out there. Special highlight to Xavier and Bubbly Blue. I remember being on your pages and just being absolutely blown away by the attention to detail that you both put in. You're awesome. That's really cool. I also love how it feels so community-based. There was one person who I attacked in this event who I was the only person who attacked them. But when I expressed this, 2 people who I know jumped on and attacked them too, and it's just, that feels so innately Artfight, and I love seeing that on the internet, where nowadays it feels quite lonely, I guess, with how much hatred and speculation and distrust there is. And yes, I formed bad habits, but I also got a lot more comfortable drawing hands and hair and backgrounds, something that before I was too scared to do and now I wasn't. Yes, I felt a pressure of having to make a lot of pieces, but I never once felt a pressure for it to be perfect. I felt like I had the freedom to experiment, hence why I tried a completely different style to what I'm used to. So no, I don't think Art Fight was a bad idea. I just think that I will have to be a little bit more equipped with a different idea of how I'm going to do future events. Thank you so much for joining for my first ever Art Fight. If you enjoy original character art as much as I do, consider subscribing, as that is the type of stuff I'm going to be doing in the next few months. Otherwise, I hope you have an absolutely whimsical day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!